I believe somebody somewhere knows something.
Tonight, a Southern Kentucky mother pleading for answers. 3 months after her son was killed, police have few leads.
It's a bizarre new fad that has a Kentucky Police Department fed up.
If it is creating a situation that's breaking the law, then you'll be charged for it and arrested.
Why they're telling creepy clowns it's no laughing matter.
Until we grow up and get a mentality about us and have some guys step up and get tougher, then we're going to look like the same bunch of crap.
A visibly upset Mark Stoops calling out his defense after practice today. But that isn't even the worst news tonight for the Wildcats. An update on the injury to starting quarterback Drew Barker.
WKYT News starts now with breaking news.
Good evening. It could not have happened at a worse time. A large fire is burning tonight at Boyd Orchards.
That business is known for its fall festivals. It's located on Kentucky 169, not far from the Fayette County line. WKYT's Monique Blair is live there with the breaking details. Monique?
Well, Sam and Amber, when we got out here about an hour and a half ago, flames were just shooting from the two barns you see behind me, several yards behind me. Now, that fire has since calmed down quite a bit, but there is still quite a bit of smoke out here. Now, the owner of the orchards tells us those two barns are both a complete loss, but he does say nobody was hurt and there were not any animals inside those barns. Now, the owner, Terry Boyd, says he thinks at this point the fire was caused by some sort of electrical issue, and it was mainly only equipment inside those two barns. Boyd says he will be open tomorrow and this weekend as planned, and he says this fire will not affect his customers at all. In fact, he says these barns are in an area that customers never go.
We're just hoping folks don't panic that we're in trouble here, because my barns are in trouble, but not our market, not our playground. Everything fall festival wise is going on. We have all of our pumpkins, all of our apples are intact. There's just really, other than me losing the barns and a few pieces of equipment, there's really no issue with us in operation for our fall season.
We have not been able to talk to firefighters yet because they have been working very hard out here. But again, I am told they will probably be out here for several hours tonight. For now, I'm reporting live in Woodford County. Monique Blair, WKYT.
Monique, thank you. We'll have the very latest information on that fire on WKYT.com and on air, and also beginning at WKYT News at 4:30. But good news to hear him say he will be open. Don't worry about those barns. You just come see us out there.
That's a relief.
Yeah.
While they were fighting the fire, the last few hours of summer, pretty much staying warm out there.
Yeah, fall, by the way, officially arrives at 10:21 tomorrow morning, but it's not going to feel like it. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey is first with your no-wait weather forecast.
Yeah, you know what? First few hours, first few days of fall, kind of overrated anyway, guys. That's at least what I'm going to tell myself as a fan of fall. We're rolling through the final hours of summer, as you mentioned, on a toasty note out there. Temperatures today flirting with 90. Late evening thermometers have now dropped into the mid-60s into much of central and eastern Kentucky. 67 degrees right now in Lexington. 10-degree drop in 1 hour out at the airport. Interesting there. 85 tomorrow, 89 coming up at 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Plenty of sunshine yet again. A few folks can hit the 90-degree mark, and a little morning fog will give way to that famous mix of sun and some high clouds through the course of the afternoon. Defender Radar Network, boy, it has been quiet over the past few weeks. It's going to stay that way. Cold front to our north, warm high pressure across the Ohio Valley into parts of the deep south. But fall changes slowly start to show up as we go into next week, guys. We will focus on that at 11:13 and wait until you see this picture of a woolly worm that I'm going to show you in just a few minutes.
All right, Chris, thank you. He was supposed to be in his last year of elementary school. His family was set to celebrate his 11th birthday next month.
But all of that changed, and it was taken away in just a minute. It's been 3 months since Stanley Turner died in a hit and run along a country road in Pulaski County. After months of raising money, tonight his family has a reward for information to help catch the driver who got away. WKYT's Monique Blair has our top story at 11.
They say memories last a lifetime.
What are you doing there, Stanley?
And these are the very memories Stanley Turner's family
What are you doing?
will hold on to forever.
He loved life, They said he used to sing the loudest in church out of everybody.
Now nearly every day, Stanley's mom, his big brother, and his big sister come visit him behind the church that he loved so much.
This was his home. He loved it here. He never wanted to leave this place.
3 months ago, Stanley was hit by a car while he was outside playing with his older brother.
My 13-year-old boy found him, you know, and it's just really hard.
Stanley Turner was hit right out here on Rocklet Creek Road, and now his family hopes that by creating a reward, someone who knows what happened out here the night of June 20th will come forward.
Because he's my son. He's my baby, you know. I have to watch my other kids hurt every day.
With the help of the community, car washes, and an auction, Stanley's family has been able to put together $2,000. That money will go to whoever provides information that leads to the conviction of the person who hit Stanley Turner.
I have to hold on to some hope, you know, because without hope is all we have left.
In Pulaski County, Monique Blair, WKYT.
So the family needs some help. The Pulaski County Sheriff's Office tells us they do not have any new leads at this time, but they're still looking for a blue passenger hatchback-style car that possibly has Ohio plates.
For nearly half a century, state police have tried to identify a woman found murdered in Harlan County. Well, tonight, they finally know who she is. DNA testing confirms the victim is Sonja K. Blair Adams. Her body was found along the Little Shepherd Trail in June of 1969. Adams' body was exhumed last year after state police were contacted by a woman believing the body may be her mother. Police hope the new information will generate new leads in the investigation.
It's very rewarding to know that I can bring closure to a family, but there's still, you want to go further with it.
Adams was from Letcher County. She was just 21 years old when she disappeared.
At least one person has been shot and killed in violent protests on the streets of Charlotte, North Carolina tonight. Police have used tear gas on many of the protesters. People are angry over the fatal police shooting of a black man. Don Champion is in Charlotte tonight with the latest.
What began as a peaceful march through the streets of Charlotte turned violent abruptly. Charlotte police set off tear gas and flashbangs. At least one person was shot and killed. Police say he was shot by another protester.
They started screaming, "No justice, no peace," and then they just shot him.
Near the Omni Hotel, police formed a barricade, holding back people angry over the police shooting death of 43-year-old Keith Scott. Throughout the night, police have upped their posture here in downtown Charlotte. Here you can see officers wearing protective gear and backup arriving on the scene. Someone threw fireworks. A police helicopter hovered above. Police arrested several people and unleashed more tear gas.
This is not how we rise. This is not how we succeed. This is not the way.
Violent protests rocked part of the city after Scott's death Tuesday. A day later, dueling narratives of what led up to his death are only adding to tensions. Police maintain that officers in the area looking for another man encountered Scott with a gun. When he did not respond to commands to drop it, they say that's when Officer Brentley Vinson opened fire.
A weapon was seized, a handgun. I can also tell you we did not find a book.
But family members and the woman who recorded this video moments after the shooting say Scott, a father of 7, was reading in his car when officers approached.
I saw the book fall off his lap.
Police have not yet released body and dash cam video from the shooting. Don Champion, CBS News, Charlotte.
Officer Vinson is on administrative leave. The Justice Department says it is assessing the shooting, but it has not opened an official investigation.
New at 11, a federal grand jury has indicted 2 men in connection to a rash of overdoses in Montgomery County. Our news partners at the Lexington Herald-Leader say indictments against Robert Shields and Wesley Ham were returned today. Both are charged with distributing heroin laced with fentanyl. At least a dozen people overdosed in Mount Sterling. One person died. They could face up to 30 years in prison if convicted. Earlier this week, we told you about reports of people dressed as creepy clowns being sighted along southern Kentucky roadways.
And those reports continue to grow. And now, one Kentucky police department is putting the pranksters on notice. Our Garrett Weimer has the story that's new at 11.
They've been an unwelcome sight after the sun sets, like a scene from a horror movie, or worse, straight from someone's nightmare.
Are you scared of clowns? Not really, but if I saw one, I don't think I'd feel very safe at this point.
Those creepy clowns crept into southern Kentucky and since have been spotted all over the state. Beth Lambert and her son were on their way home when they saw this clown along the road in Barbourville. At the coffee shop where Lake and Dillingham works and around town, it's all been quite a topic of conversation.
And it kind of put me off, and then I'd heard a few people on campus talking about it, and it's pretty wild.
Barbourville police say they've gotten several complaints of creepy clowns around town. They say they believe they're just pranksters and copycats, but still they want it to stop.
First of all, if you're doing it, there's no legitimate reason for it. You're creating a danger for yourself. You're kind of playing with fire.
Police say dressing up as a clown in and of itself is not against the law, but they say intentionally trying to scare people is where the problems start.
If it is creating a situation that's breaking the law, then you'll be charged for it and arrested.
The consensus? Folks here are ready for the not-so-funny business to stop.
Be a little bit smarter about what kind of a prank you're trying to pull or whatever the point is.
In Barbourville, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
And police say it also creates a risk because investigating clown complaints takes resources away from other incidents. Check this out. Laurel County Jailer Jamie Mosley posting on his Facebook page tonight that he found a teenager along a road in a clown costume. Mosley says he took the mask and warned the teenager about the danger that he was creating for himself and drivers.
It appears the injury to UK quarterback Drew Barker is worse than first thought. After practice tonight, Coach Mark Stoops announced he would be out indefinitely. Rob Bromley joins us now early with our Big Blue coverage at 11. Rob?
Well, Drew Barker's back injury will leave him on the sidelines for a long time. Steven Johnson will start at quarterback in his place this Saturday. Barker left the game after the first series last weekend. Mark Stoops said Monday he would see a specialist today. Now, there is good news. Back surgery is not the recommended treatment.
He has an injury that does not require surgery at this point in time, and he will be out for a significant amount of time. I have no idea how long that'll be. When I say significant, he's out for the foreseeable future in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. After that, we'll reevaluate him and see where he's at. He saw a specialist, his mother, his father, Drew, Jim Madalino, and our doctors are all on the same page, and they believe the best treatment is rest right now.
So it'll be treatment and rest for Drew Barker. He will be reevaluated, as Mark Stoops said there, in 2 to 3 weeks. And of course, Steven Johnson now gets the nod as the Cats' starting quarterback.
Rob, thank you. Last weekend against New Mexico State, Steven Johnson threw for 310 yards and 3 touchdowns.
A frightening scene in Madison County this week when police say a man threw homemade bombs at someone. The latest on the investigation in 10 minutes.
And see how friends are helping a Frankfort man badly injured in a fight near a college campus.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Well, hope you're having a great Wednesday. Downhill toward the weekend, but it is uphill as fall gets ready to roll in. Temperatures are continuing to climb over the next couple of days. Right now, readings are down into the 60s in much of central and eastern Kentucky. 64 the cool spot in a few locations into central Kentucky, Danville, and the Mount Sterling area as well. Most thermometers will settle down into the upper 50s to low 60s later on tonight into early tomorrow, and you got to watch out for a little fog. It's the time of year when we start to look at the folklore forecast for the upcoming winter ahead. Check out this shot from my Kentucky Weather Twitter feed. This is a gigantic woolly worm, and you can see it is black, and that is a sign, at least that's what the old timers tell us, of a cold winter ahead. And from Jeff Renner, KY, says a very, very big and a very, very black caterpillar gets stocked up on firewood. Not ready to go out on that limb just yet, but you know what? It's fun to look at the signs anyway. Short-term forecast, though, summer is going to steal the show. The weekend looks good, and then we've got some changes that will be coming down the road as we go into next week. Summer, though, will continue to control the weather across the Bluegrass State. Let's look at temperatures heading into the day tomorrow with those readings that will be topping out already low 80s at lunchtime, and we go through the heart of the afternoon. A lot of upper 80s to around 90 degrees into much of central and eastern Kentucky. Bigger changes, though, are on the way potentially as we go toward the middle of next week, as we start to see now the overall pattern giving us the possibility of some significant changes overall into next week. The temperature map decided it wanted to roll on again. That's the heat index showing up tomorrow, and it does not have a big difference at all across the entire area. So we're going to be noticing more in the way of that dry heat that is with us across the Ohio Valley. I actually wanted to show you something different there, technology. High pressure on top of the Mississippi Valley, keeping us high and dry through tomorrow. Again, upper 80s for that high temperature. Hour by hour forecast showing that as we go through the next couple of days, it is pretty much the same old pattern that is going to show up across the region. Watch that timeline, but each and every day kind of running together, not seeing a big change until we get into next week when one big low pressure center slowly changes the pattern across the lower 48. That shows up at the end of that 7-day forecast. We'll be near 90 over the next couple of days, 70 potentially by the time we hit Wednesday of next week.
You're heading the right direction.
Yes, we are.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
Work at the old courthouse in Lexington is progressing. We'll have an update on the $30 million project.
A Richmond man faces charges tonight after police say he threw some homemade bombs at his landlord.
36-year-old Joshua Spivey is accused of throwing 2 Molotov cocktails at his landlord near his home on North Street Monday morning. Police believe he was high and hadn't slept in a few days. They say the landlord wasn't injured, but the situation could have been a lot worse.
Could have burnt the whole building down. It could have burned her completely up as far as that goes. I mean, the injuries could be, it could cause death and unknown injuries. I mean, this is not something people should play with.
Spivey is behind bars without bond. A Frankfort man remains in an induced coma tonight at UK Hospital after he was seriously injured in a fight near a college campus. The brawl happened in Bowling Green last weekend near Western Kentucky University. Corey Johnson was visiting a friend at the school. Police say he was attacked by several people near a fraternity house.
And then after he was tackled, it looks as though he was knocked unconscious. And then 2 other people came over and continued to beat him in the head while he was unconscious.
His friends have started a GoFundMe page to help his family pay medical bills. The WKU student newspaper reported there is video of the fight that police are looking at to try and identify suspects.
We have an update tonight on the renovations taking place at the old Fayette County Courthouse. The mayor's office says that much of the work has now shifted to the outside. Scaffolding now surrounds the building. The old courthouse was built in 1898 and will be turned into a multi-use facility with a restaurant and office space. The $30 million project is expected to be finished in the spring of 2018. Lawmakers grilling the head of the company that makes EpiPens about the aggressive price hikes that have outraged consumers. The CEO of the Mylan Pharmaceutical Company testified before a House Oversight Committee today to explain how the cost of the life-saving allergy medicine grew to more than $600 for a 2-pack. Lawmakers pointed out as the price skyrocketed, so did the CEO's salary.
By last year, her compensation had soared to more than $18 million. After Mylan takes our punches, they'll fly back to their mansions in their private jets and laugh all the way to the bank.
Mylan CEOs said that only a small minority of patients pay the full price, and the company's profits is just a fraction of that. Lawmakers are pushing the FDA to approve similar drugs from new competitors soon.
Well, it is not good news. Just ahead, the Cats will be playing without Drew Barker.
Mark Stoops updating the status of his quarterback after practice today, and Stoops also let his defense have it with both barrels. His words were strong. That's next in sports. The news is not good on quarterback Drew Barker. He will be sidelined for 3 to 5 weeks for what is termed a significant back injury. Mark Stoops breaking the news after practice late this afternoon. Barker went out after the first series last weekend against New Mexico State. He was hit here on the second play of the game by the Aggies. Barker will be evaluated in 2 to 3 weeks. He saw a specialist today who said no surgery.
The specialist recommendation was non-operative at this time. and everybody understands that. And so we'll give him some medicine and give him some treatment and give him some rest and see if we can't get him better. He's doing okay. He's disappointed, as you can imagine. He's worked extremely hard, and I really feel for him because he's put a lot of time and energy and work into getting in this position, and so that's tough on him.
Stoops tore into his defense after practice this afternoon. Tuesday, the defense practiced well. Today was a different story.
I thought we played, practice the way we should practice yesterday, and I thought we absolutely regressed today, and that's our problem. That's our problem. And until we get it changed, we're going to have the same darn results that we have in that stadium, which is bull crap. And so until we grow up and get a mentality about us and have some guys step up and get tougher, then we're going to look like the same bunch of crap.
Well, South Carolina up next at Commonwealth Stadium, 7:30 kick on Saturday night. It is on the SEC Network. This Friday, Pulaski County travels to Madison Southern in a measuring stick game for the Eagles. John Clark's team off to a 4-1 start. And while this team has used a highly effective run game, it's the Southern defense which has given up less than 800 total yards in 5 games. It has been the strength so far, and the Eagles will need to bring that defense and then some against Pulaski County.
There's no question our defense. We move around well on defense. We've got a lot of team speed on defense. We've been one of the best defenses in the state this year. We swarm to the football. We get after the quarterback. We're pretty good in coverage. Improving. Obviously, we gave up 39 points last week, but 14 of that came off of turnovers. You take that off the board, that's not as ugly as a score as it was. So as long as we don't put the ball in other people's hands, our defense has really done some great things this year.
For the 3rd year in a row, Kentucky will have a basketball practice televised live. The open practice will be on ESPNU the night of October 9th. It will include 3-on-3 drills and 5-on-5 scrimmaging. Coach John Calipari's squad includes 6 newcomers in one of the nation's top freshman classes. And Kentucky senior guard Michaela Epps has been named a preseason All-American by Athlon. Epps is a second-team selection by Athlon. Last season, Epps was a first-team All-SEC pick, averaging a team-best 17 points per game. She hit 47% from the field with 4.5 assists per game and 4.8 rebounds per game. The men's soccer team at UK and the volleyball squad both winning tonight. We'll be right back.
Right, the latest from Charlotte coming up in the morning with Bill and Andrea at 4:30.
And first day of fall, right?
Yeah, it's going to feel more like summer, though. Enjoy.
Thanks for watching.